saying congratulations on the film. I had a chance to sit down and watch it this evening, and it's an absolutely amazing film. So congratulations.
Oh, that's a nice way to start. Thank you so much.
So, Matt, tell us a little bit about the film. This is a film that is so close to your heart. Where did the idea first come about to write this film and to make this film?
I've tried to write the film lots of times. I've tried to tell the story in many ways, and I've just always failed. And really, but I guess in some ways, without sounding too poetic, I've kind of been writing it internally, without even looking at it, without thinking about it for a long time, and I've kind of waxed and waned with the research and the interest I've paid to my heritage, my birth parents. There's been times when I haven't thought about it for years, and then other times I've got to know a bit more. But really, the key stages where I saw a photo of my birth mother at the age of 14. I didn't look at that poster again for another 10 or 11 years. I couldn't look at her. I was always very comfortable in my identity as being an adopted kid, but how I felt about her, I just couldn't. I didn't know how to look at her. I didn't know how to look at her face. I didn't know who I was looking at. Was she? Who was this mythical person to me? Who was this person who I knew? She was Canadian. I knew that she'd come to London as a student, age 22. I knew that she gave me up for adoption as a newborn, but that's about all I knew. And it wasn't really till I was given her diaries by her partner, who held her hand when she died in my mid to late 20s, that I really got some serious detail about who she was, but still I hadn't worked out how to tell that story. And it wasn't until many years later, in fact, it wasn't until really the opportunity to meet the actor that I knew that I had to write something, and actually it just came spilling out of me. So I knew I was going to meet Elora on I think it was on a Tuesday in a cafe. I'd been introduced by a mutual friend, and I wrote the dialogue there and then, and Elora said she wanted to do it, and she had one specific day, and I knew I couldn't write a really big film with lots of locations and lots of characters. I just had Elora, but Elora's incredible in the film. She inhabits the role, and I guess Elora was the catalyst for me, really. She has such a beautiful soul. And she's so skilled at inhabiting this character. I mean, that's really how I started.
What was it about Elora that made you decide that she was the perfect person for that role? And what do you think it was within her that sparked you wanting to go away then and work on the project?
I mean, I can't give you an intellectual answer, actually. I can't give you a specific thing. It was just a feeling. It was a.
Yep.
It was a. I mean, there's an overused, and it's a cliche because it's said probably too many times that good directing, half of being a good director is casting, and if you get that right, and you find that the core, the humanity of the character, if you find that in the people you cast. Everything is so much easier, but it is so true that I just knew that she could embody just the resilience and the quiet rage and grief and spark and just vivacious way that my birth mother Joan, embraced life. I just felt Elora was all these things, and she shared some personal things that really keyed her into the story. It was a feeling though. It's not a great answer really to say it was a feeling, but that's the best description. It was just a sense that she could do it, and she could become this person.
What was it like shooting the film and standing there and watching Alora play your mother? Because I had the experience a few years ago where I wrote a theatre show that was based on a pretty traumatic experience in my life, and I realised during the first rehearsals it was actually quite tough to stand there and watch people act it out in front of me. What was that moment like for you, watching Alora play that part?
You know, that moment actually didn't happen in I mean, the shooting, filming it was amazing. And, you know, the first, so she did it 12 times, right? We used the third take, and I kind of knew when she did the third take that was, I didn't know, but I felt strongly that was one of the, that was the one. That we were gonna use. But really, that moment that you described really happened in rehearsal. So we'd planned to rehearse for 3 days, and so it was just me and her, and she ran it for me on the first day. So it was a Monday. We shot on the Thursday. Monday morning, we're in a community space, and next door there was an elders. You sort of hear this line dancing going on for this elders group, which is quite sweet. Not quite the vibe, but anyway. And Laura did. She ran her lines, but she didn't run her lines. She gave me the full. She delivered a performance where, you know, that really made an impact. You know, the first time I saw her do it in rehearsal. I mean, it was still emotional on the day. What was wonderful, really, probably, which was just as wonderful, is seeing the cast, the rest of the crew react to her performance, because, you know, people were just blown away, and that actually meant a lot, because it was like, shorts are tough because you're bringing together people who, so on a feature or a TV show or a longer form project, you know, you work day in, day out together, and there's a camaraderie, and there's a, you know, the team gels if it's going well. And, you know, shorts, you don't have that opportunity, but it just felt that because of what Alora was doing, it really knit us all together on that day. And that was wonderful.
Definitely. Now, the film has found success at the different film festivals that it's been at. What has it been like for you being at those festivals and seeing how the film's been received?
Yeah, it's been awesome. I mean, I had a mini meltdown halfway. It wasn't a meltdown, but halfway through editing, I was just thinking, you know, I just don't think we have it. You know, what am I doing? Why would someone want to sit through 10 minutes worth of monologue here? And it wasn't about what Laura had done, or we just couldn't make the elements all work. You know, we've got Canada, we've got my birth mother pouring out her heart. I've got bits of diary. I've got diary and letters, and you know, I've got documentary elements. I've got true life, but a dramatic performance. And I just couldn't make it work. But the festival's kind of validated, that there was a story worth sharing, and that was awesome. Really, and actually a really bit of a relief, really, that people could sit through what is quite an unusual format. You know, it's not. I mean, we have had a few comments saying, you know, they kind of lamented the fact that that there is only one character, and there is only one, and they're speaking to us, and not everyone has responded to it, and that's fine. You know, it's you know, we respond to films in very different ways, and I can accept that. But the festivals were a good way of encouraging us that we'd made something that was worth watching.
And seeing Alora pick up the Best Actor at the Cornwall Film Festival, that must have meant a lot to you as well, seeing her get such a rich reward for the job that she'd done for you.
Yeah, no, it did, and I was just delighted for her. Really, she's a very established artist, right? I mean, she took a risk I believe she took a risk on the material. She took a risk on me. I had not written something like this before, and I've made lots of short films, but I had not written something like this. And so to have her, it's kind of like it's like payback, isn't it? It's a way of saying, it's, people saying we see what you're doing, and it means something. I think that means a lot.
Definitely. So where to now for the film, and where to now for you? I mean, this film shows that you are a very, very talented filmmaker. So what's the next step now for you?
So I'm writing shorts. I've written 2 other shorts and 3 other in the wing, but 2 other shorts. One called The Colour of Our Memory, which is about editing our memory to change our future. And another called Dead Weight, which is about my experience of living through my adoptive father's passing, featuring a piano that falls on someone who's trying to clear their dad's house. But the other bigger project is I've written an outline for a feature film for The Electricity in Me, which rewrites my Joan's story. It gives her more time to meet her son. So it's rewriting my history as well. And those 3 projects are going to keep me busy.
Well, Matt, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on our show today. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you about the film, and I cannot wait to see this film extended out to a feature film, because I think that's going to be something very special indeed.